Welcome to the Swoop, BG Falcon Media's live sports talk show. Bowling Green Athletics is in full swing right now with 10 programs underway this week, so it's no better time to talk sports. I'm your host, Chaz, Mr. Spooky McNeil, and I'm joined by two Falcon Media Sports Network analysts, Tyler and Wyatt. How are you guys doing today?
Good, how you doing?
Doing great. So before we start, we just learned that John Stansbury, one of the donors of the new volleyball court, the Mo and John Stansbury Court, has passed. BGSU Volleyball Socials posted the sad news earlier today. We send our condolences. In more volleyball news, however, Bowling Green Volleyball is off to an absolute heater right now. 4-0 in MAC play, just in the past 4 games, 4 straight sweeps, and up against Toledo, they have this upcoming week. They just have absolutely done everything. You look at the MAC volleyball standings right now, or just with how Bowling Green has played, they go 5 straight games with a win. Then they take on Eastern and Central Michigan, and they lose. Since that, absolute roller. It's just so good. This volleyball team has been so outstanding.
Well, something that really sticks out to me is you see those 2 5-set losses against Eastern and Central. We know Daniela Tomic, and we know how good of a coach she is. She definitely lit a fire under this volleyball team after those losses, and they really haven't looked back since, Chess.
Yeah, I'd say honestly, I was there for the 2 of those losses, and they just looked like honestly like they were playing differently for some reason. And then now it's just how they're playing now. They're killing it. Clearly, it's so easy to them now. It seems.
I mean, you just talk about momentum for them. You lose 5 setters, like 2 back-to-back 5-setters. You think, oh no, this team can't get it going. They start winning the first set. They start actually dominating against a good opponent in Buffalo. Then they take on Akron. Then they sweep Kent. Things are looking really solid.
And you had that Toledo win in there, too. That was a big momentum gainer for them when they beat Toledo the way they did. And, they have them coming up again here soon. We'll get into that. But, they've just been dominant. Like
Reverse sweep, too.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, how often do you really hear that? And they did that back-to-back.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to that Toledo game. I'm excited to see what they can bring 100%. To the table. They've worked out the issues that they may have had that caused those losses, and now they're just raring and ready to go now.
And you're taking on that team at home. BG Volleyball pulled off that reverse sweep against Toledo on the road. Now they take them on at home. Toledo 3rd in the MAC right now. Bowling Green 2nd. That's the biggest swing game right now we have in volleyball.
That's really, you don't want to discredit any of the other opponents, but that's their only big challenge really left in this regular season before you get to the MAC tournament. If they can clear Toledo, clear that final hurdle, this team's going to be set up good come tournament time.
I want to ask you guys this, though. I don't know how much you guys know volleyball, so I don't want to throw too much of a curveball, but it's kind of an easier schedule down the line. You've got Miami of Ohio, NIU, Ohio, all towards the bottom of the MAC. Who's going to be the one player for Bowling Green to step on the gas and push them to the MAC tournament?
I'll go first. I think Lauren Hovey. I think Hovey, compared to what we expect for her, she's still 7th in the MAC in points. But, we expect her to be a game wrecker. Game in, game out. I think she's really going to take a step on that gas pedal as we head towards the end and really elevate this team and play to her full potential down the stretch.
With that said, volleyball absolutely just on a full run right now, but we've got a couple sports starting fresh. We've got men's basketball and women's basketball kicking off just about a week away. And if it wasn't obvious, it's Halloween, as you can tell by the desk. So we're at the collision point between winter and fall sports here at Bowling Green. And if we're just closer to basketball season, I'm really excited. That's a big reason why you're here, Tyler. Men's and women's basketball, they're going to tip off their seasons this upcoming Monday. And what's going to be really a prove-it year for both squads, they have 17 total additions between the 2 teams. And there's going to be a lot of adjustments. You just look at it. Both of their coaches entering their 2nd year. Bowling Green men's, they ended up losing Marcus Hill, who was first-team All-MAC, and Morgan Sharps on the women's side, also a big standout player. So, Tyler, you are an expert on men's and, to an extent, women's basketball. Just give us what you got.
Well, first of all, I'm pumped for basketball season. I'm ready for it to be here. But, men's basketball, that's really the story right now, is the losses and the big additions. Like you said, you mentioned Marcus Hill. You also lost Rashawn Agee and you lost Jason Spurgeon. Agee transferred to USC, Hill transferred to NC State, Spurgeon playing professionally in Australia now. But you added 10 new players. And every single one of those players, from talking to people, from talking to Coach Simon himself, they all fit the mold of a Todd Simon player. These guys are meant to play in his offense. They're meant to play in his style, and you can just expect a fast-paced offense for Bowling Green men's basketball this year.
Well, what about the women's side?
Women's is kind of the same. They didn't lose as much. Like you mentioned, Morgan Sharps. Other than that, you didn't lose a ton of key pieces. You had a lot of returners. Amy Velasco, Erica Porter. You get Lexi Fleming back. We'll see if she starts the year. We'll see if she comes back a little later. As most people may know, tore her ACL for the second time against Indiana last year. But they will have her back at some point this year. And he added a bunch of really good new players. We'll see how many of them get up, but John A. Donahue, apologies, is one that Fred Shamil's talked a ton about. And he added just some other players that fit into that Fred Shamil system also. So they have more returners than the men's team, and they're looking to be healthier at the start of this year, which is good.
Well, Wyatt, you mentioned off air. I don't want to air you out right now, but you did say you were really pumped for the season. What is either men's or women's? What's that one X factor for you?
Both of them. One with the men's, which just like I've talked to other people as Tyler mentioned, how the men's itself is like a more fit team now. For the way that they play, and I'm really excited to see how these new players can really push that forward. Then with women's, I'm excited to see how Lexi Fleming's going to play when she is in there, because I remember last season when she wasn't there, it was a big loss for them.
With that said, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's go to a story I'm actually really excited about. Lucas Kleinmeyer did a story with Bennett Painter of men's soccer. You know Lucas, intern Swoop, if you will. He was here last week for the Swoop, hosting for me. But with that said, let's see this package. I'm really excited.
So right now, currently tied for the lead team in goals with Trace Terry, your striker partner, up top.
Oh, yeah.
So be honest, like I mentioned. How often do you go back and forth with him on who's going to lead the team in goals by the end of the season?
I don't think we ever have, honestly. I think there's been some jokes that have been said around that, every game we go into, we both tell each other, oh, we're getting braces together. That'd be awesome. 2 goals each, that'd be awesome. I always want to assist him and he always wants to assist me. We just want to see each other succeed, so it's awesome.
So when did you decide you wanted to be a painter?
The day I was born, I was kind of born into it.
How so?
Last name.
Oh. Kind of forgot about that. You know, this was a good game?
What was a good game?
Detroit Mercy.
It was a good game. Very
What
good game
happened
for
here
the
in Detroit
team.
Mercy?
Team showed out after a bad loss to UIC, so we had something to prove and we proved it.
Someone have a hat trick in that game?
Maybe someone had a hat trick in that game.
First half hat trick, what I heard. Actually, I heard it was the first hat trick since 2015 for the program.
It might have been. I don't know who said that, but it might have been.
Any guesses who scored that?
I think it was me.
You think it was you?
I think so.
You think?
Okay, so that was my first time. I don't know about you guys. That was my first time seeing that. Genuinely, that was really funny. Just the casual style of the interview works so well. Lucas is the best at what he does. He's right up there with you, Tyler, your 10 men's basketball player previews. But, I mean, that stuff is just so cool, you know?
It is. It's cool to see that side of an athlete. You always see them on the court, on the field, or the pitch, as we like to call it with soccer. But to see them a little bit out of their element, doing something else, and being able to express themselves in a different way to viewers and fans is always cool to see.
Yeah, it's people got to remember, it's like the athletes go under a lot of stress, but they're people. They like to play around too, and I thought it was really funny too.
And I mean, maybe it's me being like an interview nerd getting out a little bit, but the way he gets Bennett Painter to crack time and time again, you get that personality to come out, that is just, I mean, you can't replicate it. That's something, and the fact that he's in the all-white suit, and he looks so funny. And I mean, Lucas is probably hating that I'm talking about that, but it's so good, you know.
And you got to see a genuine side of Bennett Painter. I really came away from it thinking he was a genuine kid, which is cool to see.
So, as I mentioned earlier, Bowling Green, they played the Toledo Rockets this upcoming week, but in volleyball, but they actually just defeated their rivals last week at the Glass Bowl in football. So it's only fitting that for our Athlete of the Week segment, one of the best segments on the show, if not the best, we go with a football player, and the football player that was chosen was Jordan Oladokun. He's this week's Athlete of the Week following a huge 2-interception game against Toledo. Oladokun returned one of his picks to the house on Saturday, which functioned as a massive momentum boost for the Falcons. The BGSU football captain is currently on the 2024 Jim Thorpe Award watch list. You can read more about Oladokun in this week's edition of the BG News on bgfalconmedia.com. With that said, now we get to the best part. It's our Athlete of the Week projections, and I'm just, without further ado, let me take it away. Give me Jessica Andrews for volleyball. I keep going on volleyball player. I did Amanda Otten, and I got it right. So you got to go back to the well. Give me Andrews.
No, I understand that pick. Amanda Otten definitely was a good one too, so I understand how you got there with that. I'm thinking, really, for my pick, I think I'm going to go with Cole Moore. He's been pretty good so far. Last season he was 2023, 2024 CCHA rookie team. Ferris State doesn't have the most productive offenses who they'll be playing next. Fifth in shots on goal, and I think he really should be able to save some shots for them there.
Best for last, Tyler.
Well, those are both very good picks. Tough competition here, but I'm going to have to go Emma Stransky, sophomore forward for women's soccer. 4 goals, 2 assists this season. Her 10 points also, goals and points second on the team, and she scored the game-winning goal last match, so she's coming off a goal performance, so have to go with the hot hand there.
I mean, and especially with women's soccer taking place right this second as we record the show, a lot going on. Your pick might already be great. It might be bad. We don't know. That's the best part of doing this show. But for me, Jessica Andrews going up against a Miami of Ohio team that offensively, they don't function that well. And I think Andrews had a couple big games this year, but she is a very, very good player. Third in the MAC in blocks. She averages about 1.25 per set. I think she's going to be a brick wall against a Miami offense.
You have a really good argument there. She's been pretty good all season. You can definitely see it continuing there.
But I will say this about I want you to talk about Cole Moore for a bit because that is a really intriguing pick.
Yeah, so I really think, I mean, a lot of time goalies can be a heart of a team. You rely on your defense a lot. It's a big point of hockey. You can have a great offense, but if you're letting in all the shots, it really doesn't do anything. He's had some spotty games earlier in the year, but it doesn't matter because what matters is game per game. And really, I think he can pick up from where he left off with it, being on the CCHA All Rookie team, and the fact that, like I said, Ferris State they're towards the end of a lot of the CCHA rankings for where they are on offense. So if we're looking at the shots on goal, how many of those shots go in, I really think he should be able to save them a lot there.
I think it's really interesting because me and you, Wyatt, we chose kind of the safe. They're going up against not the best team. Tyler, your pick, back up against the wall, playoff hopes on the line. You really have to get going. Emma Stransky's your pick. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point there. Backs up against the wall, though. I think Chris Fox has this team ready to go. They really could use a win. I believe if they get a draw, they also get into the postseason tournament. But they need a result against a Kent State team, and Emma Stransky is the most aggressive player on that offense.
With that said, I think that's all we have for this segment. Coming up, we have Lathan Chapman with your BG Sports updates of the week, only on the Swoop.
Reporting for the Swoop, I'm Lathan Chapman. Bowling Green took a trip down to Columbus on Friday to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Falcon defense struggled at the start, giving up 2 goals halfway through the period. The second would go scoreless and neither team would gain much momentum, but in the third, with just 2 minutes left, freshman forward Martin Maxwell would put the Falcons on the board. A last-second Buckeyes goal ended up putting the game away, winning the match 3-1. The next day, the Buckeyes traveled up to the Slater Family Ice Arena, where Bowling Green's offense struggled yet again, but the Falcon defense stood strong until the second period when the Buckeyes scored 2 goals in a row. The Falcon offense continued to fall flat and failed to score for the rest of the contest, falling to the Buckeyes 2-0 on home ice. BG looks to grab a much-needed win in the Slater tomorrow against the Ferris State Bulldogs and to start off hot in the Central Collegiate Hockey Association at 7 p.m. Sliding into women's soccer now, the Bowling Green women's soccer team tallied their first win since the beginning of October. Both defenses stayed strong through the first half until sophomore forward Emma Stransky scored a goal 15 minutes into the second half for Bowling Green. With just 3 minutes left in the game, Falcon midfielder Lexi Serwin put a dagger into the Zips, helping the Falcons win in a defensive battle 2-0. Bowling Green is currently fighting for a home game in the Mid-American Conference tournament while they take on Kent State in their final regular season game happening right now. Flipping to the men's side, the men's soccer team is looking to get back in the positives after going winless through their last 3 games. The Falcons' last game against the Evansville Purple Aces continued the disappointment and a loss 1-0. The first half, both defenses would stand tall and not allow a single goal. But in the second, the Purple Aces would break through the Falcon defense and score the first and only goal of the match. The Orange and Brown have their tournament hopes against the wall as they look to pick up their first win in exactly 1 decade against the nationally ranked Western Michigan Broncos tomorrow at 7 p.m. at Cochran Stadium. Keeping you in the loop, you're watching The Swoop. I'm Lathan Chapman. Stick around for the wrap-up where you'll find information on upcoming sports events.
Somebody should really notify Lathan about the ghost behind him because that's kind of creepy. But welcome back to the wrap-up where we update you on sports happening in the next week. So let's start off with our games we're excited to watch for this week. Falcon hockey will look to get back in the positives with a home series against Ferris State with puck drop at 7:07 on both Friday and Saturday, November 1st and 2nd. Volleyball will have a weekend series on the road against Miami of Ohio before a Tuesday home game against the Toledo Rockets. Both men's and women's cross country have the MAC championships in Muncie, Indiana this Saturday, with women's starting at 11 a.m. and men's following at noon. Then, looking forward to Monday, both basketball teams will play against the same opponent, Southern Mississippi. Women's will kick off the action at home starting at 7 p.m. with the men on the road at 8. So, we got to say this. Halloween, spooky, all this energy. I'm so excited. What is your guys' maybe give me your biggest sports take, your big hot take, whatever it is, about this upcoming week of sports.
I mean, I think Bowling Green hockey, if we're going to do a hot take, I think they can win both the ones they have there. I think they're going to be in a good momentum there. And I'm really hoping for like some spooky offense against Ferris State there. I hope they scare them a little bit.
I'm going to stick with hockey. You want a hot take? Cole Moore, 2 shutouts against Ferris State.
Ooh,
that's my prediction there. I don't think Cole Moore lets it go into the back of the net.
I
think he
really
can do
like
it, yeah.
And I mean, that would be a shoo-in.
It'd be the bane of us because he would get athlete of the week.
Hey,
but yeah.
it's cool with me.
Still have to say, I'm the only one who's on the Wall of Fame right now for picking the athlete of the week correctly. So whatever. But with me, I'm gonna go. This is a hot take, but I think we talked so much good about volleyball. You know, we talked about how good they're doing. The 4 straight sweeps, I think it's gonna be hard to sustain that. I'm gonna be the bad guy here. I think they drop at least 2 sets against Miami of Ohio this upcoming weekend. That's just in total. I don't think they'll drop them in the same, but I do think they'll end up getting the wins there. You know.
Imagine they swept them though. How crazy that would be.
6 straight sweeps.
That would be insane.
And I mean,
that'd be gearing towards baseball's record of it was 9 sweeps or something last spring.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So with that, I think that's all we got for this week. Have a phenomenal rest of your week. Happy Halloween. Don't forget to check out bgfalconmedia.com for more features, recaps, and more. Be sure to swoop in next time here on The Swoop.